Welcome. Marhaba. Tervetuloa. We are very pleased to welcome you all, our partners, here at Expo 2020 Dubai, connecting minds and creating the future through sustainability, mobility, and opportunity. My name is Lamia Musa, Regional Marketing Manager for Kone, Middle East and Africa. And on behalf of Kone, I would like to warmly welcome all of you to our event today. We have many exciting discussions ahead of us, but before starting our evening, let us briefly take a moment to talk about safety. The Finnish Pavilion has the latest standards and technologies for your safety and comfort. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will find the exit doors right here to your left. There is also another exit room right there closer to the elevators and washrooms. Please take the stairs calmly, 2 floors down, just push the door and you will find the exit to the outside to your right. Thank you so much for your attention. Kone has been in business for more than 110 years. Today, we celebrate the trust of over 500,000 customers, an installed base of more than 1.4 million units, and a dedicated team of 60,000 employees around the world. But we are not here today to talk about our solutions. We are here to talk about the possibilities for the future of our cities. We will first hear from our President and CEO, Henrik Ehrnrooth, on how Kone brings new thinking and ideas to help improve the quality of life in urban cities. Following that, we will hear from Imtiaz Mahtab, our Managing Director for Middle East and Africa, on the opportunities, trends, and changes happening in our region. That is right before we push the boundaries of our imagination with a panel discussion led by Tariq Qureshi on building the smart, sustainable, and connected cities of tomorrow. Let us now welcome to the stage President and CEO of Kone, Henrik Ehrnrooth.
Welcome, everyone. Wonderful to be back, I must say. We all know it's been a couple of years of not meeting so many people, and usually I come at least about once a year to here to the Middle East, to Dubai. And every time you come, you realize that things are changing. And today, I've been here yesterday and today, and again, been able to experience wonderful things that we've done with you, our customers. Thank you for the great business that we've been doing here, and our partners who we're working with to deliver this. I must say that, again, some of the buildings we've been looking at today and projects has been, wow, this is only what you do in this part of the world. I've been missing coming here, now great to be back here. But today, as we heard, we're going to talk about what smart and sustainable cities mean. That's what we are working a lot with at Kone, because we know that if we can help our customers improve the intelligence, the sustainability of buildings and urban life, then we can contribute to a much better cities. And we have a clear mission at Kone. We say it's to improve the flow of urban life, because we know that more and more people in the world live in urban cities. And to make them sustainable, we also need to make them better places to live. And we want to do it by understanding how people flow works in and between buildings. Really how humans are interacting, how they're working. And then we want to make their journey safe, convenient, and reliable. In the end, if we can see it on people when they move around and have a smile on their face, then we usually have succeeded. And everything for us starts from 3 basic things. We know the world is urbanizing. We know in the next 10-ish years we're going to have another billion people moving into cities. We have hundreds of people moving into cities every single minute. So it's like you would take busloads every single minute into cities. That means that there is a need and we need to make those cities much more sustainable. We know that when we talk about sustainability, and we can talk about it from many different aspects, that is the biggest challenge of our time. And we've seen at Kone that if we are part of the solution here, it's not only the right thing to do, but it's also good business when we work with our customers. And one big enabler for that we know is technology. So what I'll talk a lot about is how we use connectivity and sustainability together to drive this mission. So what are we hearing from our customers? And what I've heard again from people I've been talking to here and during my trips, luckily we can do some trips again, during the past months, is it sounds to me that almost every building that's smart and sustainable, that's kind of a key design principle. That's something you cannot forego today. Because we know that buildings, when you build them, they're there for the next 50, 100 years. And you need to therefore think about the future. There's something very future-oriented. Hear a lot from customers say, hey, how do we build something that is relevant in 5 years, in 10 years? And then we come a lot to the adaptability. Because we all know that if you look at an office, who could have predicted 3 years ago how we use offices today? And if someone claims that they know how we're going to work in 2 years' time, I think they overestimate their own ability to predict, but they may be much smarter than I am. And then it needs to be responsive and convenient. So it needs to be, I think what we're also seeing is that the human interaction becomes much, much more important. So everything we do has to have an experience element, and that we're also thinking a lot about. So technology, digitalization are great ways to help solve many of the problems of urbanization. And that's something we are investing a lot at Kone. We've been bringing to the market some really leading products and solutions, something that we really brought to the market before everyone really thinking about them. And one, we talked about DX class elevators, we came up with them here. That's something with connectivity built in, so we can bring services as you need them. We don't need to come and install anything. You can order more services as you need them, as your buildings change, or as your needs change, because you may get different types of tenants or different types of needs. And then, of course, our flagship connected service, we call it 24/7 connected services. That's really something we brought to market several years ago, and we've been showing the direction to how you bring connectivity and what it does for services. And that's also have a big sustainability element, because with connectivity, we can understand much better what's happening in buildings. We can predict before things happen. That means that we can improve the longevity of products. We can plan in future to do the right things and not do them reactively. What's actually also quite interesting is that, I don't know if you've seen, but we now have, with the Financial Times, a collaboration where, because we have so many connected units, we are showing how people are moving around in cities. We're looking at that based on number of elevator starts. And latest data I looked at, I think there was actually a few very interesting things. First, most countries are coming back to, let's say, 90% of pre-pandemic levels, how elevators are used in buildings. But what is interesting, what was at 100% compared to pre-pandemic? It's retail. People tell us that retail is dead. Our data shows something different. So it's actually quite interesting insights we can do here, and we've driven quite a lot of discussions with our customers also that, hey, how do we, with this data, can help them plan where people go, where people have been, what they've visited. So again, a lot of things you can do with connectivity. So those are just some curiosities, but if you go to FT partner content, you can see exactly real time for some cities of what movement is of people right now. But it's not only that. I think sustainability is also how you make things more robust, how you make things more predictable, so you don't do unnecessary things. You take away waste. And here are just some statistics when we connect elevators. We have more than 40% less call-outs. So that's quite meaningful. Because 70% of all faults that happen, we can predict now ahead of time. Are we perfect in doing it? Not yet, but I think it's pretty good. 70% we can get signals to say, hey, something is about to go wrong, and then we can fix it before you even notice that we fixed it. and 50% reduction in entrapments. So what does that mean? It means also we come less to sites, we drive less, because we can monitor this, and every time we come and fix something, if we don't do it at night, it should be a inconvenience factor. So we should be able to, with this, drive much better convenience. So these are data now from a broad base, what we've been using for many years. So actually quite pleased how that's going. So then sustainability. That's really, today, as I say, a key design principle for most buildings. Particularly we see in Europe, that's really, you cannot build a building today unless you really think about sustainability. And it's not only about energy efficiency. That's, of course, one huge thing. It's about adaptability. It's about what materials you use. It's about indoor air. It's about healthy environments. There's a lot of different aspects. And that we see is a very strong trend. And that's a trend we like. But also, how can we help sustainability? One is, of course, accessibility. That makes places much more inclusive for all people, all backgrounds. How can we improve accessibility all the time? Environment. One of the things I'm most proud of is that we have the most energy efficient elevators in the market. So we can drive down energy consumption. That is the biggest life cycle impact of an elevator is the energy consumption, and that we can drive down all the time. And then, of course, it's to provide health and safety, safety of our users, safety of our people, how you work, but also healthy indoor air. So that's what we're putting a lot of emphasis on, how we make things smarter. For us, connectivity is now something that we build in because we don't know what all we're going to do with it, but when we have it there, we can bring a lot of new things. And then sustainability is another, how do we constantly reduce the footprint of what we do and make things more sustainable, more adaptable, and accessible. So I'm sure we have people who are experts in this, will be able to tell much more and smarter things about it than I can do. But again, to all of our customers and partners, very nice to see all of you here. Very much appreciate you took some time. Also come here to the Finnish pavilion. I think it actually looks quite Finnish because I haven't been part of designing it, so I can say I think it actually looks quite nice, but quite down to earth, like we want to do things in Finland. So we want to do it nicely, but without too much fanfare. So the team here, I think, has done an excellent job, and very happy to showcase it to all of you. So with that, Imtiaz, where do we have you? There you are.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for coming here, distinguished guest, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to see you during these hours. So I'll be short, but I mean, before I, share with you our region, a year ago, I was in the sustainability sectors and I was looking at, this is the mobility pavilion. So I said, okay, in the mobility, I was looking at some mobility sectors. I said, okay, can I look at a transport company that, have done something massive in terms of reducing the energy consumptions using, people. So I'm looking for a company like Tesla, for example. And I found a company that has about 1.5 million car in the market. 1 billion people are using it on a daily basis. And then I also look at that car that use roughly about 90% less energy than it used to be in 20, 30 years ago. And you can also recycle the materials 90%. You don't have to drive that car. You can call that car. And actually, you can send robots inside that car, and that car will go to the hospital and stuff like that. So that startup company was quite intriguing for me. And that 100-year-old startup company is Kone. So if you think about it, that's what we do. We move 1 billion people. It's fully automated. So the future is here. So I think that's something very intriguing for me when I look at a portfolio company. And I think that's just to put things in perspective. When we talk about, my friend will talk about future, but I think it's here. So with that, I just like to go ahead and share with you. So in Kone, when we talk about sustainability as our key enabler, we talk about, we support customer in accessibility, environment, health and safety, because this is the sort of product that we, the accessibility to the when it comes to product offerings, this is one of the key features we offer. When we talk about environment, we talk about how we build the product and also how does it integrate into the whole system. And health and safety, you look at it, and I will give you some of the examples. So again, I'm going back. I think if I look at the regional perspective on the three lenses, what does urbanization means in our region? So if you look at the left-hand side, the percent of urban population in total population has grown from the last 2 decades, 58.5 to 66%. That's the MENA region. Africa will host about 1 billion people in the cities. The population will grow to 2.5 billion, and 1 billion of them will live in the city. Imagine that. That's roughly about 70% of the population of China. And 75% of the Middle East population are Gen Z. That means they are highly connected, highly literate, and one of the highest penetration, as you know here, of the digitalization in this region. Sustainable roadmap. If you look at the urbanization and the sustainability, in the cities, roughly worldwide basis, 70% of the total energy is consumed inside the city. And if you look at the construction material, 40% of them are responsible for greenhouse gases. So, and if you look at in our region, I've looked at a study, in the 40% of the energy that is consumed by the buildings, and the people who work inside the building, they're actually 30% efficient. What does it mean? The other people are 70% of the time, they look for tools, they look for the flow, how do they construct those things? At Kone, we have a solution, as you will see, that, for example, jump lift and other, that can reduce the time of constructing, hence has an impact on the in the urbanization. The reason I mention is quite simple. You know, in the region, if you look at what is the sustainability goal, you have Saudi Vision 2030, Egypt Vision 2030. You have a climate action. COP is happening this year in the region, next year again as well. And each of them has a net zero target in it. And if you look at the urban living in the smart sustainable city, you have heard about $3 trillion new economic development in Neom City, of which $700 billion will be catered toward building the line and the other cities. Then you have new capital city in Egypt. By the way, you'll be happy to know that the tallest building in the new capital city is one that is fitted by Kone. And then you have Konza, Technopolis, and the Alamein city. All these places have the ambition to have people living and connected in a manner that the total CO2 footprint reduces. And you know very well that in our region, we have one of the highest CO2 footprint per capita in the world. The idea is to drop it by 45% by 2030 vision and 2050 smart city integration. It's one of the key principles, and when we talk about circular economy of green and sustainable growth. So here, when we talk about the DX elevator and 24/7 services, it's very straightforward. We have a product that use recycled material, that use energy consumption, 90% less than what it is. In the last 30 years, you will see in our sustainability report, we're able to reduce 12 million ton of CO2 equivalent, and that's roughly about taking off 1 million people from a European city. So when you connect that with the DX and 24/7, you will see that, and then the call-out rate will go down. That means people have to go and less, drive their car and maintain those elevators. So that will have an overall impact on the overall CO2 reduction. So we are a strong part of the circular economy and green economy, and the two product and services that we talked about in our CF showcased that will significantly contribute to the net zero ambition of the region. The digital transformation of the economy. I mean, I think you can read the slide, but every 20% in IT, ICT give us a % growth in GDP. But what is key here is to see that in the MENA region, there is a 4.5% growth annually, and $171 billion is catered towards the digitizing post-pandemic. So these are not the pandemic figure. Post-pandemic, they will use more and more. So what does it mean? That the product that we have with Kone, you can co-create the future. In other words, whether you are developing a smart city, people flow solution for retail, hospitals, office buildings, you can leverage on that platform. So again, there is a significant investment that is going to go through to digitize the whole Egyptian economy. So I think what is the construction companies are doing today, as we have seen, you can see that they are using currently drone for remote monitoring. This is in Dubai. IoT to capture performance information, 3D printing, modeling tools, and clearly the Dubai's aim to have 25% buildings 3D printed by 2030. So Dubai is showing the world, and you will see that we also have one of the highest penetration compared to the rest of the world, of our services, digitization services, in the city itself. Very clearly, we are investing for the future. What does it mean? That it will help us to connect with our customer, connecting with our recruitment, connecting with employers, and connecting to the users. So all those four things will drive towards the less CO2 emission in a place where we feel that there will be many more people are moving to the city, and it will also create a sustainable environment for the whole economy. So I just want to share with you two specific projects that is going to be integrated in the smart city, and they are in two very much different locations. One is in Uganda. You will see that we have an elevator that has 24/7 connected services, all the health and well-being solutions. You can call the elevator, and then you have infotainment solutions. So what I wanted to say that Uganda and many other countries, we talked about Kampala and places, they are integrating the smart solutions with the potential investment they will do in the city. So they're investing today. The other solution, which I think is quite cool, it was done for it's a green energy building in the Bahrain. They use solar on. But what is important of this hospital is that when they look at if there is any pandemic in the future, something like COVID will come in, they want to ensure that they have an elevator that robot can use and then actually take to the medicine and to their patient, and vice versa. So with that, I wanted to conclude smart solution to create value. So at the end of the day, what we try to do is to create an impact in the economy, in the GCC and wider area, by bringing a product and solution that's going to help a smoother flow in the urbanization, that's going to bring the digital solution while ensuring there is a sustainable future in what we do. Thank you very much.